me now is Satchel from Steel Panther. How are you, man?
You know what? I've never been better. I can't wait to rock. Been locked up in my house for 2.5 years, pretty much just doing drugs every day. So I can't wait to go do drugs outside of my house.
And they're free outside the house, right?
Well, they're free inside the house too because my mom pays for them. So
okay. Also, rider requests.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good thing. That's a good thing about touring. You just give them a rider, cocaine, beer, and hookers most of the time.
Definitely. I also got to thank you for your public service announcements of reminding the world what day it was throughout the pandemic.
Oh yeah, that lasted quite some time until people, it was great for people. It was a reminder until people actually started to not really care what day it was, and then we just stopped doing it.
Every day was like a holiday, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah, it was you just don't realize how much you appreciate not knowing what day it is until the government locks you up for about 2 years. So
yeah, every day Saturday until you got to go back to work. I don't know what the rules were like in the US, but with us it was pretty much don't leave your house, and we've only just started obviously having concerts and festivals back. What was it like over on your end?
Well, I think it was pretty much the same as it was over there in the UK. Depending on the state, there were some states that didn't have a strict of rules as like California was very much like the UK. I live in Nevada. It was pretty similar as well because Nevada does whatever California does, and but other states were more relaxed about all of that, like Florida. That's why a lot of people moved to Florida during this whole thing. But yeah, I think it was pretty much the same all around the world.
Yeah,
if you were looking, because it's the first time we've ever seen the entire world agree on anything. All the world governments said the same thing. It's our job to keep you safe, people. So don't ever leave your house again.
But then what's going on in the States at the moment with abortions and gun control? It's completely the opposite end of the scales.
Wait, what are we really talking about abortion right now? Are we talking about abortion?
Possibly. Yeah, no, I saw some bands were announcing tours in the States and trying to tour it, and then every other date would be cancelled due to venue going, no, it's not safe, or band getting ill and postponing. And it was just like, why don't you just wait 6 months and then just do it? Like, I think they were just eager.
Oh, what you mean? The bands were eager?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could say that. You could say, why not just wait 6 months? But I guess people have different opinions on this.
Yeah.
Some bands actually make a living by touring. So when you say, hey, just wait 6 months,
yeah,
you could say that, but then I could say, hey, why don't you just wait 3 years before you go back to your job?
Yeah.
And that sucks for the person with the job. It's easy to say that to people, hey, there's a pandemic, don't go back to work. Just take about 7 years off work. But then you have to go, oh, well, how long do I wait before I can go back to work? Yeah. And do I really need to work? Do I need the money? Do I need to pay for food? And you could just say, hey, don't eat for 7 years. That's cool. I mean, some people can do that. Some people can't. I don't like to not eat. I like to eat.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to food, just like I'm addicted to cocaine. I like cocaine, so I like to work so I can do cocaine. And for me, ultimately, it's like, hey, I know that, everybody's got a different, opinion on the pandemic. Some people think it was really super dangerous. Other people think it might be about the same as the flu. Those people are, looking at the actual science. I think the government, like I said, people have different opinions on this too. Some people think that the government overreacted. some people think that it was all planned. It all depends on who you ask.
Yeah. So many conspiracy theories.
Yes, yes. Anybody and most people who of course, if you think it's all planned, it's a conspiracy theory. And if it's like I said, we could talk for hours about that, or we could just talk about doing drugs, which is way more fun.
Definitely. And your European tour, which starts in 2 weeks?
Yes, it starts very, very soon. And I plan on doing many, many drugs, so I don't have to think about whether or not the government's trying to lock us in our house.
As long as you remember what city you're in, that's the main thing, right?
That actually doesn't even matter to me, because there's a bus driver and he's told where to drive, and I just do a bunch of drugs, and then I show up wherever I am and rock really super hard, because I can do that when I'm on drugs. And that's the great thing about being in a band, is you can do as many drugs as you want, and it's very easy to rock when you're high.
Never
so
done it.
I plan on it.
No. I can't play an instrument, so I'm just normally just.
Well, it's also very, very easy to listen to bands when you're stoned as well. Yeah. So that's the good thing.
The older I get, though, I feel like I need more of a chair to watch bands these days. My legs aren't what they used to be.
Well, yeah, that happens too when you get locked in your house for a couple of years.
Yeah. What's Steel Panther been up to over the last 2 years? Have they been working on stuff? Have they just been taking time off and just enjoying the fruits of their labors?
Well, we didn't really have many fruits of our labors, but we did actually write a new record. When I say we, I mean mostly me, but we're finishing recording it after what, 2.5 years. So it takes a long time to do stuff. I mean, listen, normally it wouldn't take that long to record a record when you're locked in your house and you basically have nothing else to do for 2.5 years. And some bands finish albums very quickly, but for a lot of bands, like us included, being locked in our house for 2 years meant we couldn't tour. And when you can't tour, you can't make money. And when you can't make money, you can't spend money on recording. So it was very, very difficult to record a record because we had no money to record a record with. But we've managed to do it on a shoestring budget, and we're mixing it right now, and hopefully it'll be done. And it'll take about another year to get out, because it takes a long, long time to do this stuff when you have no money and you're locked in your house, basically. So that's one of the things that I think a lot of fans don't understand. They think, well, these guys have been locked up for 2 years. Why didn't they put a new record out? It's just hard to get a record done when you don't have any money to do it, and you don't really have any money to release it. And a lot of fans don't like to pay for records now. So they just go, well, I want a new record and I want it for free and I want it now. And, it's just hard to do it. So hopefully we'll get it out in another year or so. And in the meantime, hopefully we'll be able to do some touring on the last record that came out 2.5 years ago. And we didn't really tour on that record because we were, right after we released the last record, we got locked up. So, but hopefully we'll be able to go tour and maybe make a few bucks and put another record out in a few years. And hopefully we won't be dead before we tour on that one.
Hopefully. Well, there's this new thing called monkeypox, but that's a different.
Well, but that's just all a natural pandemic. So I'm sure that has nothing to do with the pandemic. And I'm sure nobody's going to get locked up.
No.
For that one.
So you've had 2 years to, write this album. Do you think it's some of the best work yet, as you've got time to refine it, or?
Honestly, most of the stuff was written within 6 months of the last record that we did. It's just taken that long to record because we didn't have, the money to do it, and we didn't have we sort of had to do it backwards. So we didn't have the money to go into the studio. So we tried to finish a lot of the vocals in a bedroom, basically. A lot of the recording process was backwards. We did the drums last, because it was the last thing we could afford to do. It's not easy to record at this point. So, I mean, it's probably easier if you're a band with like a ton of money, like Def Leppard or somebody, but those legacy acts that already have like tens of millions of dollars in their bank accounts, they can do that kind of stuff. But bands that are don't have that money, they have to kind of just scratch together the money to do that kind of thing. But it's, where there's a will, there's a way. And we're finishing our record, and I do think that it's going to be a really good record. And like all Steel Panther records, I wouldn't put it out because there's no real reason to do records at this point unless you like the songs. We could tour and just do our old stuff and do cover songs or whatever. But
a collection of EPs throughout the year would be like sufficient enough.
Yeah, you could do that too, or like I said, you could just, a band like us, we could just tour and do whatever we want. We could do cover songs. I don't look at it like, our fans are going to come see us no matter what.
Yeah.
And if there's fans of ours that don't want to see us because we don't have new material, then they probably were never a fan to begin with.
No.
Because we're a great live show, and if people in the UK haven't seen us in 3 years and they're just like, well, I've seen those guys before, it's just going to be the same show, then they're probably not a fan of ours. So I'm cool with that too.
I mean, you are headlining the second stage of Download, so there's got to be some form of fanfare.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope that there's some fans there and that they want to see us. Like I said a minute ago, like we didn't really get to tour on our last record. Well, we did January of 2020. We did some dates in, I think it was January or February of 2020. We were able to do some UK dates. And when we did that, it was maybe a few dates, and then they locked everything down. So hopefully we'll be able to, there's still some demand to see us. And we'll have some people in front of the stage when we do Download. It'll be fun.
The record's been out now longer, so it's had time to resonate with fans more, or just people who stumble across your music. It's not a new album as such.
Yeah, usually when you put a new album out, everybody goes, this really sucks, I liked your last record better. And it just takes time for people to get used to it. And the resonation does help. And hopefully, there will be some fans that know the lyrics to our last record. And we go every time you release a record, you go through that process. And I'm looking forward to playing, and we're definitely going to do some stuff off of the Heavy Metal Rules record, and it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Is this do you have a UK tour planned? Is it because it's just Download for now and then the European festival circuits, or are you kind of seeing how everything kind of works out in Europe and then come back sometime next year or anything?
Oh, do we have plans to come back? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like there's a war in Ukraine going on and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much really what we're dealing with, like everybody else. I would love to come back. I would love to come to the UK every 6 months, but we just have to deal with the world that we live in now, which is there's a new pandemic there's a new variant every 2 months, and new rules, new regulations, but we'll come back as much as we can. As I know we've got a lot of fans over there that would support us. So, but we'll be back ASAP. So
awesome. And you're also bringing Florence Black as support, which are awesome local boys to me. So they're gonna smash it. I hope you enjoy them.
Yeah, I know it'll be great. Those guys sound awesome, and we're looking forward to doing shows with them and rocking people's balls off of their bodies.
Awesome.
Unless they don't have balls, and then they can't do that.
That's all right. Don't judge.
It's all right too. We'll rock their tits off their bodies. Well, hopefully not, because I like it when tits are on the bodies.
Keep them. Just throw them on stage.
But yeah, can't wait. Download's gonna be a blast. So
definitely, and it's great to see you picking up where like almost where the last tour left off. Do you know what I mean? Like you are going to promote the last album and not just go, oh, we've got a new album now. This album is the one that time forgot, and just carry on as you would.
Well, I mean, you sort of have to just do whatever you can, right? So we're gonna, I mean, like I said, every time we do a record, I love all the songs that we put on there. So hopefully we'll try to do stuff off the new record. We'll probably do something off of every record.
Yeah.
Because every record has songs that I really dig, and I know that there's fans that want to hear some of it. So we'll do all that stuff, and then we'll do some old stuff too. It'll be a blast.
Do you find it hard taking songs out of the set list and having to replace them with new ones from the album?
It gets harder with every tour, because there's always songs that I think are great. And there's always songs that are like, we have Community Property off of the first record, which we always do. But then there's other like power ballads that I like a lot, like Bukkake Tears and That's When You Came In. And there's songs off of every record that I really like, but people want to hear Community Property. And so it's hard those songs fight for a spot, but we end up usually just not doing any new stuff because people want to hear like the older stuff, right? So that's the same with every band. Like Def Leppard, I'm sure it's really hard for Def Leppard to do anything new because people want to hear Bring On the Heartbreak and stuff like that. So which it's a good problem to have, but
they could just play the same song for like an hour and a half and people would be happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier when we do headlining shows and not festivals, because then we can play longer and do more songs. But it's a good problem to have, and we love playing all that stuff too. And I guess the goal is the lesson that you learn if you're in a band is write songs that you like to play, because you might be playing them a lot.
Yeah, forever.
Exactly.
Sure.
Doug,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. I can't wait to. Hopefully, I'll see you at Download.
I definitely,
and,
man.
You'll be, in the front row with your shirt off and your tits out.
I'll do my best, man. I'll grow some boobs.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely shave your nipples for that.
I will.